If I had to start my DJ career all over again, this is everything that I would do step by step to go from 0 fans to a full-time DJ career. For those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Henry Fong. I've been a full-time electronic artist, DJ, and producer for over 15 years now. I have some of the most played songs on 1,001 track lists. I have over 2 billion streams, and I've been lucky enough to work with some of the most prolific electronic artists like these guys. All right, so in this video, I'm gonna run through the entire playbook that I would use if I had to start my career all over again from scratch and grow it to a full-time touring career as fast as possible. I want to preface this video by saying there's no one-size-fits-all strategy for artists. Every single artist is different. I just want to share with you guys exactly what I would do. So if I had to start over from scratch today, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on building a really strong and powerful brand first. And the analogy that I like to use is like opening up a store for business. Before you open up a store for business, you're going to make sure the storefront looks nice. When the customers walk in, they have a good experience. When you guys start releasing music, fans are going to start landing on your social media. They're going to start landing on your artist pages and stuff. And you want to make sure you have all that stuff set up first. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I would get a set of clean, professional press photos. And I'm not talking about your random friend that just has a camera that's fooling around. I would go get really, really professional photos done with an experienced photographer. And I would give that photographer specific art direction about what my project is about. I want the photographer to be able to get a certain vibe with my photos. After you have that set of press photos, then I would move over to the other brand assets like the logo and the font and artwork and things like that. And I would kind of come up with a universal template that you can use over and over again across all the touch points and assets like flyers, album artwork, things like that. I would think that through with the press photos and I would come up with an overall artistic direction and feel and vibe for the project. So for example, on my project, I use a lot of like surfing inspiration and my brand feels very worldly and global, right? And that's kind of what I want to make people feel. So there's little touch points across my brand, like on my tour flyers, my photos, things like that, that makes people feel that. So you guys want to think about the vibe that you want to give off as an artist. Here's some examples of DJ's projects that I really think have really good looking brands. After the brand was established, I would be now purely focusing on remixes. I would probably try to crank out 2 to 4 remixes a month. Now on these remixes, I know this sounds like basic advice, but I would be focusing purely on remixing the right artists and thinking about these remixes as club weapons. You know, there's certain artists that you remix where their music is played in the club a lot, and there are certain artists that you're going to remix that their music's not going to be played in clubs as much. And so I would be focusing on the artists that are going to fit into DJ sets more, and I would be just kind of grabbing the low-hanging fruit and thinking about it that way. This is something that I've learned from doing these remixes. The artist that you pick to remix really pulls a huge amount of weight on how well it does. So on these remixes too, I would probably be uploading them to SoundCloud and YouTube. I know there's a lot of copyright stuff around uploading music to SoundCloud. I'm not going to get into that today on how to get around that, but if you guys have any questions, you can leave that in the comments. Now that we got the music strategy for the first year or so, let's move over to the content. So I'm going to have to need a way to promote these 2 remixes a month. I would probably try to shoot for about somewhere between 5 to 10 short form social media videos per release. So that's going to leave me about making 20 videos a month or so. I would take those 20 videos a month and I would put them across all the short form social media platforms, try to build my Instagram, try to build my TikTok, and be going super, super heavy on short form content. I would be really hinging on more organic style content, nothing overly promotional, nothing like link in bio, artwork kind of stuff. I would eliminate that kind of content and be focusing on just purely discovery content, stuff that's not spammy, not promotional, and that looks really organic. Some examples of videos that I might make, in the studio videos. I might make outdoor creator style stuff. I might get a pair of DJ decks, do that. If I had access to a club and I was able to go DJ, I would be capturing live clips as well too. The important part here is I want to give each remix a chance to succeed. And so I think the minimum amount of videos per release would probably be, like I said, somewhere between 5 to 10. I would also be educating myself more on how to improve my content. So I would be using content references from other artists that had successful videos. And then I would also be probably continually updating my knowledge about editing and filming. And I would try to get the production quality of my short form videos as high as I could get it. Now that we have the baseline of the strategy, about 2 remixes a month, 5 to 10 short form social medias per release, I would think about running this over at least for the first 6 months. And the first 6 months, I would look at it like a trial period. I'm going to see what remixes people are gravitating towards. Maybe I remix a specific artist. Maybe I tried a specific sound or genre that worked better. And I would be adjusting my strategy based on some of the feedback that I have. And the same goes for the short form. You know, if you're making, let's say, 10 videos a song and you get to month 6, that's about 100 videos. So at 100 videos, I would probably have enough information on what's working and what's not working. And the way I think about it on adapting with short form is if something's not working, throw it out. If something's working, I'd be doing more of it. So the whole time throughout that 6 months, I would constantly be adapting my strategy and changing the formats and try to get to that format that's really, really working. After I run the strategy for about a year, if I did things correctly, I now have 24 remixes out. I have hundreds and hundreds of videos out. And at this point, you should have enough content out there where you have opportunities for big DJs to be playing your songs out. You've probably built maybe your first 1,000 fans, maybe your first 50,000 fans. Now at this point, you probably have done enough to start building the seed of your first fan base. Now this is the part where I would start moving into originals. Now, after a year or so, you're going to have plenty of data on like what's working, what you enjoy making. You're going to know a lot more about yourself as an artist. You're going to know a lot about how marketing yourself works. You're going to know a lot about how you're going to make content and things like that. So at this point, I would start focusing on originals. I would continue to run the strategy, and I would probably look over to my originals, and I would probably make a demo bank of like, say, somewhere between 6 to 8 originals. And now with these originals, if I did things properly for that first year and I started making contacts with DJs, maybe you met some people that work at record labels and things like that liked your content online. And now I would take the demo bank of originals and I would start moving that into the strategy. And I would probably take these originals and I would start shopping them to really, really good labels. So first I would shoot for the A-list labels in your specific sound and try to now take your release calendar from releasing 2 remixes every month to maybe 1 remix, 1 original, if you can get there. So after I would start working in the originals, I would really focus on working with some of the top record labels. I would be shopping the demos out, opening up conversations on email, maybe potentially at this point, if I did everything right on social media, maybe I caught the attention of some agents and managers, and I would now really start to be thinking about my project as more of a complete business. I would definitely be looking for managers. I would definitely be hopefully working with A&Rs, trying to get my music out on good labels. And then, everybody's timeline's different. The strategy can work for some people in 2 years. Some people it might take 5 to 10 years. It depends, but ultimately, this is exactly everything that I would do and that I have actually done in the past. I started my career posting remixes to SoundCloud, and I went from these remixes for the first year or 2, and I moved over to the originals, and I had a nice string of originals that got signed to record labels, and that's how I was able to start my career as a touring DJ. I know this strategy is not going to work for everybody, but I wanted to tell you guys what I would do if I had to start all over from scratch again, and that's it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.